Stop me if you've heard this one before. What about the kids and midweek cooks? This is the end of many smoker conversations between couples across North America, and one that I encountered with Sarah nearly 20 years ago, which is the practicality of something like a smoker for midweek cooks. No one will deny the weekend, if you have unlimited time and resource, that something like one of my favorite categories, the offset smoker, will produce the absolute best barbecue. And while that might be really high on my list, equally high on many family shopping lists is the midweek versatility. And so today I want to provide some data to an otherwise emotionally sensitive debate between something like a pellet smoker, a propane grill, as well as a charcoal grill in terms of what their startup times are, to help answer the question, if I could only have one grill that needs to do a little bit of everything, which fuel source makes the most sense for the midweek backyard champion? Let's get into it. So the game plan for today's test is I'm going to do a 0 to 500 degree Fahrenheit test. Since this is often the argument against something like a charcoal grill, is it's going to take so long to come up to temperature that this will at least give us some data to measure how long, in fact, something like this task will take. But a quick note on 500 degrees, this exceeds the maximum temperature that my Z-Grill's pellet grill can achieve, along with many other pellet grills. So I'll stop the clock at its maximum temperature, and I'm gonna place a smart probe on the upper level of each grill. Something like my Kamado Joe has a dome temperature gauge along with my gas grill. The only grill out of the three that we'll be using today that doesn't have this is the Z-Grills, but I'm gonna use the upper rack for more consistency in terms of how the air is moving between each of the grills, so that we're not given a bit of a false reading in terms of maybe I placed a probe right near a burner or right near the active fire in the charcoal, or right above the burn pot, for example, in the pellet grill. I think that'll be the fairest representation. So without further ado, let's fire up our first grill. Okay, so I've got a probe that I'll turn on to start the tracking. Place this in the upper level, which we'll do for each of our cooks. Go here right in the center, turn on our fuel source, start it up, hit start, and let's go. Okay, there we are, 7 minutes and 13 seconds until our electronic probe crossed over the 500 degree Fahrenheit mark. I will leave this going just a little bit longer for an additional measurement, since our temperature gauge on the center of the grill is not yet reading 500 degrees, and so by placing the probe in the center, that was right below, or sorry, a burner was right below that, and since most people wouldn't be doing a digital probe, I'll get a second temperature measurement until our dome gauge reaches 500 degrees. Rejoin you in another second. I'll make sure you can see the clock here. And stop the clock. 10:14 is what it took for our temperature gauge in the middle of the grill to reach 500 degrees Fahrenheit. So now we've got our 2 times, let's do our next grill. Okay, let's get our pellet grill ready. Install a probe in the middle, turn on our digital probe, and start the clock. Okay, we'll stop the clock right there at 21:53. So that's where we stopped climbing. In fact, in a few seconds, we just dropped back from 491. So we did get much closer to the 500 degrees Fahrenheit now that the ambient temperatures are in the low 70s on a cool, rainy morning versus earlier in the spring when we had near freezing temperatures. So now that we've got a measurement, oh, even gained a few back there. So we're bouncing back and forth, 492, 489. Now that the clock has stopped, let's go do our next grill. All right, last but not least, let's do charcoal. Get ready, start our clock, and go. This is to bring the temperature gauge up to dome level, just like every other grill that we've tested. Right in the center, turn on. Okay, 5:34 is when we crossed 500 degrees Fahrenheit on our digital gauge, but we are still a ways behind on our dome gauge, so we're at 400 degrees and climbing. Just because this grill is unique to others where we actually have a live flame coming up, that can actually exceed the maximum temperature that these probes are supposed to achieve. So I really quickly just remove that, and we'll continue the clock running until we cross 500 degrees on our dome gauge. And stop the clock. 7:08 is when we crossed 500 degrees Fahrenheit on our dome gauge, and actually we are starting to get the heat in the dome. That is a realistic temperature. We're nearly, or we've just crossed 500 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, the results are in. And since I didn't mention it earlier, I did choose to do this test on the Kamado Big Joe Series 3, as that is the largest that I have. It's 4 inches taller than something like my Series 1, and I thought the closer distance to the fire would give that a bit of an unfair advantage. So I picked the most difficult one in terms of achieving our temperature. So here's the results. So starting in the same order that we went with, our gas on the digital gauge sitting right above the burner took a total time of 7 minutes and 13 seconds, and until our temperature gauge in the center of the dome or the top of the grill, that time was 10 minutes and 14 seconds. Moving into our pellet grill, which did much better in warmer spring temperatures than it did in the winter time frame, our time to reach 491 degrees Fahrenheit was 21 minutes and 53 seconds. On our charcoal grill with the digital gauge in the center, our time to reach the 500 degrees was 5 minutes and 34 seconds, and then pulling that out and waiting until our dome caught up, the total time was 7 minutes and 8 seconds. And so a lot has changed in years. If I go back to growing up grilling in the 80s when we were using things like briquettes and, dare I say, starter fluid inside your grill. Don't do that inside of a ceramic Kamado. This is where the notion of charcoal taking a long time came to be. But as you can see in the results today, we are over 30% quicker using something like charcoal. Now, you may be saying, James, but I saw you use something like a grill gun and those cost a couple $100. That is true, but something like my Big Joe Series 1 I bought, that's $11.99 and still available for sale today. I got it on sale and clearance from a Lowe's store at the end of season. You can buy that grill and the grill gun and still be the exact same price of the Weber propane grill that I recently bought. So this is not necessarily, I think, a pricing factor, as the price of even propane and gas grills has risen in the recent years. And so I think you could justify any number of things, but all of that to say, I think you can get a gas grill and a charcoal grill along with a starter torch like my Grill Blazer grill gun for a comparable price. So really, if we distill it down now to the performance, charcoal comes ahead with the support of tools like a grill gun in the range of plus 30% quicker for those midweek cooks. And so this really validates something for me that years ago was an argument that Sarah and I had in terms of what can we actually have for one grill to rule them all, and why I ultimately landed on the Kamado form factor is we can turn out amazing pizzas, to smoking things like brisket or ribs, to doing a spatchcock chicken or rotisserie chicken, and or everything in between, even for those quick and easy midweek meals. And even though today I was lighting the entire grill and trying to bring that up to temperature, speaking of a charcoal chimney, if you have something like that and you just want to do a quick little steak, you can leave that inside the grill, put a little bit of charcoal on that and place a grid on top, and you could be searing your steak in the matter of minutes versus waiting the entire 7 minutes and 8 seconds that the complete grill took to get up to temperature today. Well, I hope that helps you and potentially the argument that might be going on the next time you walk by a grill section at Home Depot, Costco, and or your local barbecue retailer. But hopefully some facts help you make your decision in terms of if you can only have one grill that needs to meet the needs of your family midweek, as well as entertaining friends, family, and or guests on the weekend. I think the game for charcoal has changed in the advent of tools like the Grill Blazer grill gun, which turned something that used to be a bespoke once a week or once a special occasion type grill into a true everyday champion of whatever it is that you might want to be cooking. That's it for today. I'm James from Smoky Dad Barbecue signing off. Remember, don't be afraid to fire it up.